Hello friends, welcome to It's a Ootsy Thing. Well, today I'm not going to be cooking because it is such a beautiful day that it's time to do some outdoor spring cleaning. So we fired up the lawnmower and got started. The only thing I had to mow was my fescue in the front yard. And boy was it a mess. That tree you see out there in the middle of the yard, it puts off seeds and they are everywhere. So it's a battle to keep those cleaned up. We love that tree because it offered such a great shade, but it can sure be a mess. A few weeks ago we had our grandson come over and help us trim it up, and that helped a lot. But it was nice to get that part cleaned up. Looks like it's time to change the edging around the yard because it is all tore up. Then I tried to rake up as many of those seeds as I possibly could, and the dead grass and leaves. There's a patch of grass there that has not grown back, so I've got to get that planted after the rain comes this weekend. And then we cleaned up all the seeds from all the trees. We have a lot of old iron that my husband has collected throughout the years. This is an old mill that he had, that we had on the back porch. We like to decorate with iron. So we put this on the front porch, and you will see what I did with it at the very end.
Like that, or? Yes. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll roll this up where the name of it is right there. Yeah, that's good.
I felt like I needed some height in the center, so I had an old cream can in the backyard where we also decorate with some iron. I went and got it and added it to the center, and I think it added a little bit of a nice touch. Now it was time to get everything washed off, get all the dirt off of everything that has collected over the winter. I love my front porch, but it faces the west, and when the wind blows, the dirt just sails through. So every spring I have to get all the dirt cleaned off of everything. I enjoy my swing because I go out and take a glass of tea and just enjoy my fountain and listening to the birds. So it took a little bit of time to get all the dirt cleaned off of everything. Watered my plants while I was at it. Because of that sun that comes in from the west every day, it's hard for me to keep any plants alive because of the heat. So come July or August, generally July, my plants that I have planted always die. So I went with artificial this year, except for my 2 urns I like to put Boston ferns in. These really need to be repainted, but that'll be a winter project, I guess. But I cleaned them up to get them ready to put my ferns in. Now that I got my urns all cleaned up, it's time to put my Boston ferns in. I got new soil to add to them, and you can see how desperately they need to be painted. I should have taken the time to paint those, and I probably still can. But I added new soil, as I do every year, and added my Boston ferns to each urn. Now what I do is I put some egg cartons in the bottom because it is so deep, to fill that in just a little bit to irrigate. And then I just added my Boston ferns in. I've done this for several years, and they look small in the beginning, but in just a few weeks they will start filling that whole thing in, and they get quite large. Now I'm ready to start the second urn. Adding the soil in on top of those broken up egg cartons. I spread the soil around, and then I always make sure that I tear up the roots a little bit and kind of spread the roots out on those Boston ferns before I put them into the urns, because they get pretty root bound in those little pots that they come in, and it just seems to really help them grow better whenever those roots are kind of broken apart a little bit. I think I got everything planted that I wanted to plant, so it's time to do a final cleanup. Now it's time to move to the backyard. This particular tree is a headache, to say the least. It has suckers that grow around the bottom of it, and every summer I battle with this to keep those things trimmed down. But it's just part of the process. So I go grab my handy dandy little clippers, and I clip them every few weeks. I wish I knew the trick to getting rid of suckers. If anybody happens to know, let me know. Because right now this is the only thing I know to do, because I certainly don't want to kill the trees. On the north side of the house, we have these shrubs, and I like to keep them manicured. That particular one that I'm trimming right there is right next to our bedroom window, and if I don't keep it trimmed, it hits the window if the wind is blowing, and we can hear it at night. But they look so much better to keep them manicured. So, throughout the summer months and the growing months, I keep those trimmed up to keep them looking nice, even though they're really not seen. But I see them, and I like to keep them manicured. Part of my spring cleaning, I like to clean my fixtures, and I also have a ceiling fan on the back porch that I clean as well, because it gets downright nasty. So I like to keep these cleaned up, all the cobwebs off, get all the dirt off, and I have to do this 2 or 3 times during the summer. But I like everything to be nice and shiny and clean. So since we're spring cleaning, that's what we're doing. Then I crawled up on my step stool and started in on that ceiling fan. I really need to do that more often. Now we're back on the front porch again, cleaning those light fixtures, getting all the cobwebs and the dirt off of them. What do people see when they walk up to your front door? Do they see cobwebs and dirt? Does your home look inviting? I want to make a good first impression. And so I like everything to be cleaned up so they don't feel like they're walking into the Addams family house. If you don't know what the Addams family is, it's an old show way, way back in the day. You'll have to Google it and look it up. But I get it all cleaned up because I want my home to look inviting and let people know they're welcome. And they don't have to be afraid of walking into a cobweb. And it always looks so much better once I finish and everything gets all cleaned up. And let me tell you, I love the look of these light fixtures. And whenever we purchased them, after we remodeled our front porch, I had no idea they would be such a booger to clean, but they are definitely a challenge. So I wiped down all the woodwork, the windows, I wiped down the door, make sure there is no cobwebs and no dirt and no uninvited little creatures that built those cobwebs. Then I cleaned the second one, and it looks so much better. Looks so fresh. I hope you'll do this to your front porch. I even managed to find some time to run to our local greenhouse and get my vegetables to plant in my garden next week. And this is how it turned out. We were so happy the way it ended up. Here's a little secret, don't tell anyone. Those flowers right there in that mill, I just ran to our local dollar store and grabbed some artificial ones. I wanted some color in there, but since I can't grow plants or flowers on that front porch because it gets so hot, I just went with artificial. But it added some color, and I think it turned out great. The best compliment I got is when my husband said, "This looks like a Better Homes and Garden house." Now it's time to enjoy the fruits of my labor. It's been a long day, so I grabbed me a glass of strawberry tea, which I'll give the recipe in another video, enjoyed my fountain and listened to the birds sing, and just unwind. Thank you all for joining me for It's a Ootsy Thing. We'll be fixing supper tomorrow night, so join us there. And next week, I'll be planting my vegetable garden. So we'll see you next time.